Oh hi, this is Chandra Easton from Star Astrology Healing, in the first of a series of lectures that I'll be putting on YouTube. Various subjects, but this first one's on the Hermetic Way. It's an ancient pathway for spiritualizing the personal self, so that we can become the people that we truly are and live in greater soul light. So I'm drawing upon ancient wisdom teaching. My background is as a student of theosophy, an esoteric astrologer, spiritual healer, many other things. Okay, so let's talk about Hermeticism. It's not a word that's heard these days. What is Hermeticism? Hermeticism is based on the principles, the Hermetic principles that come from the thrice-born Hermes Trismegistus. And I'll talk a little bit about him later on. But first of all, I'll speak about the... It's a formula for immortality. Ancient formula. We don't know how far back it goes. I dare say it goes back to the first time that humans came to Earth and realised that God bless us, we need some help to redeem the darkness that we have created on this earth and within ourselves in order to find our way back to Father, Mother, God, back to oneness. And so that's what the Hermeticism and the Hermetic Way is all about. It's a code, immortality code. And there are 7 steps in this immortality code, and the steps are referred to as rubrics, but I'll talk about them. Okay, so the first rubric is referred to as entering the Hermetic field, and the instructions that come from ancient times, from the thrice-born Hermes, to help us understand what these rubrics mean, they're written in riddles. And don't worry, because I will be attempting in my own way to decode these riddles. So what I'm going to read to you now are the 7 clues, if you like, or the 7 rubrics, the 7 riddles. And the first one, when we first decide that we want to enter into the Hermetic field, that is, we want to enter into the light, we want to enter into the spiritual path. The clue is, in truth, without deceit, certain and most veritable. End of quote. So we need truth, no deceit, certainty, and we need to follow or search for what is most veritable. That sounds kind of straightforward, doesn't it? Of course, in this modern 21st century, finding clues for the path, it's not necessarily an easy business, especially finding ones that are on the path of truth as opposed to the lies that proliferate everywhere. Okay, and the second rubric is the rubric which I've coined orientation. And the clue is a couple of sentences. That which is below corresponds to that which is above, and that which is above corresponds to that which is below, to accomplish the miracles of the one thing. And just as all things have come from this one thing, through the meditation of one mind, so do all created things originate from this one thing through transformation. Bit of a riddle, isn't it? That which is above, that which is below. That's the ancient axiom, as above, so below. What's within is without. If we would like to change the outer world, we need to change ourselves. If we'd like to understand a higher principle, a spiritual principle, we need to bring it down to personal matters, because the universal mirrors the particular. Well, that's the first part of this riddle. That which is above corresponds to that which is below, and that which is below corresponds to that which is above. And then to accomplish the miracles of the one thing. So to me that's the source. If we would like to be able to be at one with the source, we need to work with the polarities, the above and the below. And just as all things have come from this one thing, the one source, through the meditation of one mind. So it's a pretty specific clue, isn't it? Everything's originated from the one source and through the meditation of one mind. So if we are below and the source is above, although it could easily be the other way around, then we need to mimic or copy or mirror the actions of the source. And we're told here that meditation's key to it. So do all created things, that's humanity, us, originate from this one thing, the one source, through transformation. Okay, so there's three facets of this Rubik. That which is above, the above and the below, the working with the polarities within and without, meditating up upon the source, and working with the energy of transformation. Seems kind of clear, doesn't it? Okay, so that's what I'd call the orientation. That's our focus. That's the job description, if you like. Okay, this is Rubik 1 and Rubik 2, first step and second step. The third Rubik, I've coined this as separation. Okay, and the quote, the clue goes thus. Its father is the sun, its mother the moon. The wind carried it in its belly. Its nurse is the earth, it is the origin of all. The consecration of the universe, its inherent strength is perfected if it is turned into earth. Okay, so we have the father principle, that's the soul principle. The higher divine self, the sun. We have the moon, the mother principle, what I would refer to as the personality. The wind carries it in its belly. Now to me that's the reference to the wind is a reference to Mercury, the androgynous planet. So my understanding of this third clue is that the masculine, that is the father, and the feminine, the moon, the mother, need to somehow be united into this androgynous energy, which we know as Mercury. So Mercury, the wind, holds within itself both polarities of the father and the mother. Okay, so that's good enough as far as it goes. On some higher turn of the spiral, we are androgynous, and that androgyny has been divided or separated into father and mother, sun and moon, different polarities. Then the third Rubik says, its nurse is the earth. Okay, so there we are in our divine essence, within the belly of the wind, in our dualities, but we need to be nursed or nourished by the earth. It's kind of simple, really. We have chosen to incarnate onto the earth, and we need to be nurtured by the earth. Remember, as above, so below. If we wish to be nurtured by the earth, we must nurture the earth. It, that is the source, is the origin of all. Okay, so the source is the origin of the sun, of the moon, of the wind, and of the earth. Okay. And so if we want to be one with the source, we have to be one with our androgynous self, our male self, our female self, and we have to be nurtured and nurture the earth. The consecration of the universe. Okay, so when this happens, consecration or blessings of the universe will come to us, and we, by our actions, will participate, be co-creators in the consecration, the blessing, the upliftment, the spiritual awakening of the universe. It's pretty heady stuff. Its inherent strength is perfected if it is turned into earth. That's a pretty interesting point. The inherent strength of the source can only reach perfection if it becomes one with earth. So the universe, via the wind and the sun and the moon, is seeking perfection and consecration of the earth in order for that consecration to be spread abroad. And somehow or other we are made up of the sun and the moon, the planetary energies, Mercury, the mercurical, the starry energies, the earth energies, and, dare I say it, universal stardust. And the only way we can perfect our strength is if we are turned into earth without losing our planetary, our solar, our galactic, our universal selves. Overcoming separation. That's the third rubric. Let's talk about the fourth rubric. Okay, so the fourth rubric is known as, I've given it the name of the pyramid. I think I called it something else. So later on I called it union. Okay, and the clue goes thus. Separate the earth from fire, the subtle from the gross. Gently and with great ingenuity, it rises from earth to heaven and descends again to earth, thereby combining within itself the powers of both the above and the below. Okay, so in order to be involved in this transformation, we need to separate the earthly selves, our personal selves, from the fire, the spiritual selves, the solar selves, the subtle from the gross. So it's like a winnowing of the soul and the personality. Gently, we must not hate ourselves or harm ourselves or blame ourselves or put a fear trip or a guilt trip on ourselves. Gently and with great ingenuity. This requires great skill and tenacity. And what happens then? That is the source, essence, our divine essence, rises from earth. You might think of that as a liberation of an aspect of your holy self, which then rises through Kundalini to heaven, to your divine self, your immortal self, and then descends again to earth. So having winnowed your personality from your soul, your spiritual essence rises to heaven, towards your immortal divine self, and then descends again to earth. This is immortality. The entering into the physical body of the divine self and the divine consciousness, thereby combining within the self the powers of both the above and the below. So a fairly clear message. The spiritual path is not about leaving the earth, leaving the body, leaving behind the darkness and the pain and the suffering. It's about redeeming and returning with one's immortal self intact to infuse the earth, remembering that this is what the universe requires in order for the consecration of the universe to proceed apace. That's the fourth rubric. That's the one in the middle. These rubrics, they correlate to the chakras. So the first rubric sort of got some connection to the base chakra, and the second rubric of orientation has some connection to the sacral chakra, and the third rubric of overcoming separation has some connection to the solar plexus chakra, and the fourth rubric, union, or the pyramid, I think union's a better word, has some connection to the heart chakra. And then we have the fifth rubric. And the fifth rubric is termed in the ancient teachings fermentation. And the riddle, the clue goes thus. Thus will you obtain the glory of the whole universe. All obscurity will be clear to you. This is the greatest force of all powers, because it overcomes every subtle thing and penetrates every solid thing. So once this astounding process of redeeming the personality from the soul and invoking and embodying our divine self and monadic selves has taken place, then we can obtain the glory of the whole universe and see things clearly as they are, and we will have the greatest force of all powers accessible to us, because we have overcome the subtleties of the lower worlds. Heady stuff. Clearly, we're talking here if we ever get, and we will get, to the fifth rubric, individually and collectively, though I dare say not for quite a while, then the world will be a different place. The sixth rubric, which is referred to in the old texts as distillation. And the clue for the sixth rubric is, in this way was the universe created, and from this come many wondrous applications, because this is the pattern. Okay, so the sixth rubric is explaining how the universe came into being. Wow. And this pattern, this formula of 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5, the first 5 Rubiks, is the formula to arrive at immortality, and it's also the formula for the creation of the universe, remembering as above so below. And the 7th Rubik, which I've called a union, the clue is, therefore am I called thrice greatest Hermes, having all 3 parts of the wisdom of the whole universe. Herein have I completely explained the operation of the sun. Wow, very esoteric. Called the thrice great Hermes, having brought 3 parts of the wisdom. So the wisdom of the whole universe is divided into a triad. Father, mother, son, daughter. And Hermes has explained through this relationship between the sun, the moon and the earth, the father, the mother and the son, daughter, has completely explained the operation of the universal sun, the cosmic sun, cosmic